Working with a multi-camera. So, the next topic that we will talk about is the editing of a multi-camera and how to interact with it in Premiere. The first thing you need here is to synchronize the media sources. Let's say I have the same 4 cameras. We have already talked about syncing by sound, so let's look at another example. Here we have 4 cameras that don't have a sound wave, but we need to synchronize them somehow. At the same time, there is no sound wave, so we work manually. We find the moment of the clap and put a marker here. Fortunately, I already have all the markers, so we do the following. There are several options. The first option is to put the files manually on the timeline in the form of a pie. We highlight all of them, right-click, synchronize, and select Synchronize point-by-click marker. Here they are synchronized. The second option is to highlight them here and choose Create Multi-Camera Source Sequence. Also we select Sync by Markers. It has created a multi-camera sequence. We enable this icon and put our file on the timeline, so we get a multi-camera sequence. This method has a number of advantages, but there are a number of disadvantages. One of the disadvantages is that it's too automated. I like a little manual in everything, so I usually do the following. For example, if we take an interview that was in synchronization tutorial, I will manually upload them, edit the audio track and synchronize them. I do this because it's important for me to perceive the sound wave and determine it correctly, because most often this is the main task. This method is more detailed, more customizable and more manual. It synced everything we did. The next step we need is to highlight everything. Right-click and move it to the nest. A nest is essentially a receptacle in which we put all the materials. But if we look here, it would seem only the video will be moved in the nest. But if we open nest, we will find there is both video and audio. Why did it do that? Because it assumes that most likely I'm using the nest for a multi-camera. And I need to leave all the audio tracks so that I can work with them. For example, we edit a multi-camera show. Each sound off is recorded on different microphones and on different cameras, or on a device with multi-channel sound. You can trust the automatic mode, but you need to assign yourself where and what sound to leave. Now, if we need, we can remove all the draft tracks, raise the track higher, so that we will have only multi-camera and a clean sound. Now, how do we work with multi-camera? The last step we took was to move the video into nest. And when we have a nest, this is an ordinary sequence that contains something in itself, a sequence within a sequence. So it works like a simple sequence. It shows us the top videos from this row. But if we right-click on it and open Multi-Camera Enable, it will show the track that is selected. Now we have MC1 selected, so it displays track number 1, this camera. If we select Multi-Camera Camera 2, then it will show Camera 2, etc. The most important thing is, how do we quickly switch these cameras? Firstly, we have shortcuts in the upper digits on the main keyboard, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. There can be an infinite number of cameras in a multi-camera, but this is also not convenient enough, because we would like it to be displayed on the screen. Therefore, we have the option to switch the program window to multi-camera mode, and here we need more space. So I will go back to the standard layout and adjust it a little for my task. Now we can switch the cameras so that we can see what is going on. We see a yellow frame, but the fun begins when we click play. Now we click on the camera. The frame has turned red. Every camera switch from this moment creates a splice here. Now they are not visible, but when I stop it, you can see all the created splices. We added some kind of game show, just a multi-camera, etc. in this way. When we have 2 or 3 cameras, there will be no need for this. It's easier to lay them out in the layers and edit them. But when we have 4, 10, 15, 20, 60 cameras, then of course they need to be laid out somehow. What do we do for this? We can switch them like this. At the same time, the more cameras we have, the larger the layout here, that will increase as the square of some number. Now we have 4 cameras. If we click here, it will open in the source panel. In order to go inside it, you need to click with the Ctrl key pressed on the PC or Command on Mac. We can take a game show, a show where something happens on the stage, in the waiting room. This can be switched to different pages to make it more convenient. In addition, I will say about switching pages. Now I will create some splices. When we have quite a lot of cameras, it can be very difficult when it pulls up the cameras at this particular moment. The computer can't cope with playing so many streams. It's possible to divide them into pages. To do this, we need to click on the ring and select Edit Cameras. Firstly, here we can swap the cameras themselves. Secondly, we can disable some cameras that we don't need at the moment. They simply will not be displayed. And for example, if we have 20 cameras, but we want 9 cameras on the screen, then we can enter how many cameras should be displayed on the first page. And then the page 1 drop-down menu appears. Here we can switch between the other pages. So we can switch between them and edit. This simplifies the process. Now, if we need to override these splices, first of all we can switch them right here. We select a clip and click on another camera. It switched and the program memorized that here was multi-camera 3. Here we have camera 5. We switched another clip and it became multi-camera 1. What do we do with these things inside? Nothing special. We'll just go inside the sequence and scale them. And let's look. Here it's immediately reflected. This is very convenient, because a single video can be colored inside a multi-camera. This will be reflected to all the cameras around along the chain. Because after all, it's a sequence. Everything that happens inside it, happens inside it. Everything that happens outside it, happens outside it. Now, I should say a few more words about the multi-camera. Yes, we switch numbers, and if we need to make absolutely all the splices from scratch, then we will need to do this. We click play and start clicking, while all the other splices will be overwritten. While we're just looking, we have a yellow frame. It switches itself by splices. And as soon as we click play and start poking at the cameras, it will override the splices and creating new ones instead. We can also cut them here with Blade tool. We can change the number with keyboard or right-clicking. And I want to say about another shortcut. The upper digits on the main keyboard switch the cameras. If we press Ctrl plus digit, it will create a splice and then edit the highlighted camera. That is, if I press Ctrl plus 4, the splice will appear in this place. And after it, camera 4 will appear too. I hope this lesson was useful to you, and you will stop being afraid of multi-cameras. In fact, they are simple and convenient in Premiere.